Now that your Blackboard course site is connected to the library's course resource and reserve system, you can submit your reading list to us. And again, there's two ways to do this. You can either send us a file, and that's a pretty straightforward process. All you need to do, just like before, instead of emailing us a document, you can just upload it and it will be sent to us through here. The other option, which again is the preferred method, is to create your reading list from the beginning directly within the course reserve system. So this video will walk you through that process. So I'm going to start by hitting create it, and it's going to ask me to create a new reading list. It's going to take the title from your Blackboard course, which you can also provide a description for if you want. Now, the first choice I'm presented with is how I want to structure that reading list. So you can organize your citations and resources in different ways. So one option is weekly readings to match the semesters, the weeks in the semester. Another is the different types of resources that you might be using. You could use one big section, or you can even customize it and create whatever sections that you'd like and how you'd like to organize the material. So I'm going to choose weekly readings for this example. And you can see that there are all these default sections in which I can organize the readings that I want to add. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's nothing in here right now. It's an empty reading list. So I need to add my course resources to it. The simple way to do that is to click the plus button here to add items. And when you do that, you'll notice that it tells you that you're searching the library for all of our resources. So this system connects directly to all of our holdings, our physical materials, our electronic materials, and it allows you to just pull them up directly here and then quickly add them to a reading list. So let's start with an example. So in this case, I've done a search, and you can see that I can facet that search by different resource types. For simplicity, I'm just going to choose one of the books here, and you can see that there's a book which is a physical item that I'm going to add to my reading list. So I want to add this book, Epigenetics. So I'm going to click it, and the first thing you can see is I can choose where this goes. So I'm going to assign this for week 1 and hit add. And just like that, very simply, this book has been added to the reading list for week 1. So it's a really simple way to create a reading list, as you can see, that provides automatically all that nice citation information and also the live availability of information in the library. So if this item were checked out, it isn't right now, as you can see, then a student could see that, oh, the book's checked out right now, maybe I'll come back and try to find it later. If I click on the title of this reading that I just added, it's going to give me more detailed information. One of the things that I can do with this is create a digitization request. So sometimes you don't want the whole book to be read necessarily. There's maybe just a chapter that you are assigning to the class. In some cases, we might be able to actually digitize that for you and make it available. So if you click on digitization request, it will indicate to us exactly what part of the book that you would like to use. So you can say pages 30 to 51. And it'll indicate automatically the dates of your course. And then you can put a note in if you'd like, and then hit submit. So this digitization request was successfully created. And so what's going to happen now is that when you send your completed list to us, we'll see the note that you are asking for digitization, and we can process that request and check to see, does this fall within copyright and what we're allowed to do? Do we need to go and find the resource another way? And we'll do the work that we usually do behind the scenes. Another thing you can do is add notes to an item. So a public note and a private note. So a public note would be something that you could put in for the class that maybe explains quickly why this reading is important or what you should pay attention to when they're reading this chapter. So of course you can provide better information than I can. So I'm just going to put that in as a sample note. So when I close this, you can see I've got my note there, and I've also submitted a digitization request. Now, that's a physical item, but I'm not restricted to adding just physical items in the library. I can connect to all of the electronic resources that we have as well. So I'm going to scroll down and take a look at this search that I did, and I can see that there are several articles in here. So there's one right here in 2018. So if this is an article I wanted to add, I could click on it, and once again, I can choose where it should go. And I'm going to select week 2 this time and add it to my list. And you can see that right away, this new article has been added to my reading list. You can also see that there's a View Online link, which is a quick and direct way for your students and yourself to actually access this reading. So if I click View Online, it's going to open up the article on the appropriate website right away. And you can see that I can download it as a PDF, or I can read the whole thing here, depending on how you want to access it. So we've added 2 things. We've added a physical item that's had a digitization request, and I've added an electronic resource. And you can continue to add as many electronic resources or physical items as necessary for your course. However, you're not just restricted to adding things that are within the library's holdings and collections. You could even pull in information from, say, any website you'd like. There's a quick way to do this. And one thing I'm going to show you here is to click on the user menu and then click the Cite It button. Cite It is a tool that connects with your web browser that allows you to import citation information from any external website. So if I take the Cite It button right here and I drag it and drop it to my bookmarks toolbar in my web browser, you can see that it creates a new Cite It button for me. And now, when I go to an external website, I can use the Cite It button to import a citation into my course reserve list. So let's suppose that what I'm looking for is maybe there's a video, a TED Talk or something like that. So let's see if this is something that I want to add. All right, so here's a TED video, and suppose this is something I want to add to my course reserve list. You can see the Cite It button's right there. I'm going to click it, and it's going to pop up a little window that tells me, hey, I see you're trying to import a citation to your course reserve system. And you can double check the bibliographic information that this is correct. It's a video, here's the link, here's the author and the title, and then from here you can choose which course this is going into and which section you want it to appear in. So I'm going to choose week 3, and then I'm going to hit add and close. And it already says, yay, successful, it's been added to your list. So let's go back and look. Now you can see that in week number 3, this TED Talk video has been added to my reading list, and again, I get a quick direct link that goes right to it. So those are the 3 different types of ways in which you can add things into your course site. You can add physical items from the library's holdings. You can add electronic resources the library has. You can even import citation information from external sources on any website as well. So there's really not much of a limit to which citations and which information you can actually compile in a reading list for your course. And again, all of this is going to be immediately accessible in a view just like this for your students when they actually go to look at their readings.